The first thought that comes to mind when considering house improvement is a fresh coat of paint. The next, shiny new furniture that is tailored to your tastes and requirements. Every room may be transformed into an attractive and functional setting with careful choices. But do you ever wonder how such beautiful artworks are created? Hold on as we descend to learn about the entire milling process and how wood is processed to produce our furniture. All of us have been to furniture stores while starting a new life, but this is a behind-the-scenes look at how your ideal match is made. And no, only cutting, bending, molding, and laminating are part of the process. These are only a few examples. For a long time, timber has been essential to the construction sector. While it has always been a material commonly, the manner it is made and where it comes from is sometimes ignored. Beginning with the choice of wood, the entire woodworking process must be seen holistically before moving on to cutting, shaping, adding ornamental details, and finishing. Not to be overlooked are the finishing touches, which include the use of commonplace materials like glass, cloth, and metal with wood to create shelves, handles, and hinges. Understanding the technique of a carpenter or woodworker will help you appreciate the skill more, because they put a lot of time and attention into making a single item that might become your most valued possession. Wood selection. The choice of wood is the first step in the manufacture of furniture. Depending on the piece of furniture you meant to create with it, its nature should be appropriate. For instance, strong, resilient materials such as hardwoods are needed for heavy furniture, such as wooden tables and bed frames, mahogany, teak, oak, etc. They are resilient to wear and tear, can support weight, can be waxed and polished to keep their color and glossy finish for years. On the other hand, softwoods like fir, ash, or birch work well for decor items like kitchen cabinets, supporting beams, window frames, and outdoor decks. Felling, or bringing individual trees to a point of no return, is the first step in preparing the wood for use commercially. In this instance, the harvesting device is referred to as a feller buncher, while the person felling the tree is called the feller. Depending on when a tree reaches a certain stage of economic maturity, a forester will decide which trees should be chopped down and when. Before they cease growing rapidly and are ready to be taken down, trees can be between 40 and 150 years old. Depending on the tree species, age variations may occur upon felling. Conifers, for instance, develop far more quickly than plants with broad leaves. The environment, including soil nutrients, can also have an impact on how they develop. Because trees often have less moisture in them throughout the winter than they do during the summer, when they may contain more than 50% water, felling typically takes place during this time. To give the forest a chance to flourish again and provide a sustainable resource for future generations, fallen trees should finally be replaced with saplings. Transformation of wood. The logs are then kept until they are required at the sawmill in a clearing or a forest. Additionally, allowing some of the free water to evaporate decreases the weight of the tree or log, which lowers the cost of handling and transportation. The trees are typically cut into smaller lengths on site, and a wood lorry picks them up and delivers them to a processing facility, such as a sawmill, paper mill, fencing, or building company, where the timber is processed. This occurs when the tree is sliced into workable beams and boards, sometimes known as lumber in North America or timber in other regions, elsewhere. The basic materials used to make these pieces of furniture are sawn logs. Kiln drying the lumber ensures that it reaches its equilibrium moisture content and doesn't fluctuate in moisture due to its surroundings. However, it still has many of wood's fundamental characteristics. The sawmill is where this change is done, and it can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to complete. Wood cutting and splitting. After being kiln dried, the wood is delivered to a machine shop where it is sawed, planed, molded, and grooved as needed. A high-speed rotating knife is used to shape each element to the appropriate size once the various components have been cut out, clamped together, and brought together. To be machine sanded and hand-finished afterward, the pieces are first rough-carved on high-speed knives. If veneering is needed, it is done at this step. Veneering is bonding small decorative pieces of wood to the original surface to improve appearance. Sanding, painting, or staining the veneer itself are additional options. Jointing techniques such as doweling, tenoning, and dovetailing come next. The logs are debarked, bucked, or cut down to the necessary length at the selected location. Then they are divided into boards using tools like circular saws and band saws. Conversion is the term used to describe this. Breaking down, which involves harsh sawing, is the initial step in conversion. Resawing is the term for the second stage, which includes finer cutting and finishing techniques, including further machining and planing. Through-sawn and quarter-sawn are the two varieties of rough sawing that can be employed in the breaking down procedure. Each log's ends are trimmed to make sure they are straight and then cut into boards. After that, the boards are further processed by removing the curved edges using big circular saws. The term tenoning describes a projection on cut and made wood designed for insertion into a hollow, called a mortise. It is frequently used to create a 90-degree angle when joining two pieces of wood. Doweling is a technique for joining wooden items together that involves inserting a cylindrical peg into a hole that is the same size. Dowel rods and pins are thicker and more durable than screws because they are composed of hardwood, metal, or plastic, which reduces the likelihood that they will break. To construct boxes, cabinets, and drawers out of wood, dovetailing is used to attach the sides of the wood. The form of the nails and pins creates a robust junction that is difficult to separate. Assembly. During this stage, the wooden carcasses, or fundamental frameworks, are put together, the drawers are bonded, and the door frames are put together. The component is sent to the machine department for any necessary machining after the adhesive is dried and clamps have been put on it. Sanding the joints and shaping the edges fall under this category. After this is finished, it is sent back to the assembly section for the last structuring, during which the item is cleaned to get rid of extra glue. If hand sanding is necessary, it is done after staining, spray polishing, and any treatments that may be necessary. Taking out too much water or moisture from natural wood is the process of seasoning. When a tree is cut down, a significant amount of water or moisture remains inside. The water content ranges from 40 to 50%. There are two ways that water is kept inside a tree. Free water is stored in the cells and vessels to distribute nutrients inside the tree. A crucial component of the cell walls of trees is cell water, also referred to as bound water. A tree is less prone to warp or distortion during seasoning, since it loses a significant amount of its cell and free water during this time. The market cost of timber can be further boosted by producing sawn timber products, referred to as secondary processing, after turning trees into lumber through sawmilling, detailed in Step 3 and known as primary processing. Here, the wood is transformed, either manually or automatically, into a finished item like a door, window, or furniture manufactured to a certain specification. Any favored wood treatments, such as those that make the wood resistant to fire or decay, are added at this point. Sawn-treated wood may be used directly in construction or to prepare building materials, such as timber frame panels. On the other hand, assembled parts of planned joinery are typically treated. China consumed 25% of the world's sawn wood in 2020, followed by the US at 22% and Germany at 5%, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. China topped the production rankings with 18% of the world's output in the same year, followed by the US with 17% and Russia with 9%. West Fraser Timber Company Limited, a wood products business with more than 60 manufacturing facilities in Canada, the US, the UK, and Europe, is based in Quesnel, British Columbia. It makes pulp, newsprint, wood chips, plywood, particle board, OSB, LVL, MDF, lumber, and renewable energy. The company's largest hedge fund stakeholder, Waratah Capital Advisors, had 0.54 million shares worth $39.4 million. Well, the coronavirus pandemic had a significant influence on the lumber sector, just like it did on other significant businesses around the world. The lockdowns and other preventative measures caused serious output limitations during the past 2 years, which caused a lumber shortage. The recent decline in lumber prices can be ascribed to both the supply side's recovery and the destruction of the demand brought on by growing inflation and the ensuing interest rate increases enacted by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The housing sector, the biggest user of the supply of lumber, has slowed down due to higher capital costs. By the end of 2023, the housing market may undergo a phenomenal comeback, which would also boost the lumber sector. What do you think about this lumber firm and the procedure as a whole? Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and comment below with your thoughts on this. Please enable the notification bell while you're there to ensure you receive all our upcoming uploads. I hope you enjoyed viewing this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video.